Hi. Like most of you, I get confused when it comes to choosing what technologies to use to learn English, especially listening. Today, I'll try to lay out some simple ways to help you maximize your exposure to English. So, every morning when I get up to go to work, I make sure I have my earbuds with me. I love listening to music and podcasts, and I think there is not a day that passes by without me listening to something in English. Whether it's news, a new pop song, or new episode of my favorite podcasts, I have something to listen to. So, here's the problem. How to improve the listening skill. Most students find it difficult to improve this skill, and it is directly linked to their pronunciation. If your pronunciation is off, meaning you don't pronounce a word correctly, you'll hear it wrong. So in order to improve your listening, you'll have to work on your pronunciation. Not your accent. Pronunciation. To do that though, most people rely on their intuition, how they think a word should sound, rather than checking a reliable source like online dictionaries, such as Oxford, Cambridge, Longman, Collins, and so forth, or any other dictionary for that matter. Remember, you're learning a new language. Imagine someone wants to learn your language and relies only on intuition. Trust me, they will get most things wrong. So please, check dictionaries. Check. Please.
I have built up some expertise in this area, so I feel comfortable explaining it simply. You can ask me anything, and I'll do my best to make it easy to understand.
If you think people who you listen to would say expertise, comfortable, and anything, the way this guy read them, you probably hear them wrong when you come across these words. How to get better. So let's find ways to get better at it. If you're like me that loves listening to things, boy, you're lucky. There has been an increase in popularity of podcasts in the past years, especially after the pandemic, and you can listen to any podcast almost on any topic. Here's another chance to plug my own podcast. Links down below. Moving on. As I was saying, with so many podcasts available, you might feel overwhelmed. To help you out, I'm going to share some podcasts for lower to intermediate levels, and I'll talk about the ones I listen to. I'll also show you step-by-step how to use them to improve your listening skills. And yes, if you want to improve your listening, you have to practice actively. It's not easy. It's never been easy. BBC Learning English. This website has almost everything you want. While it might not suit everyone's taste and some content is old, it offers everything from work English and grammar to quizzes and so on. Let's take a look. Here in the courses, you'll see different levels. The great thing is they include activities you can do as you go. Plus, they have scripts to help you with listening. As you read and listen, you can check the words you didn't catch the first time. Let's take a look at one of these courses at medium level. Let's see. There are 3 activities, questions at the end, and then an audio podcast related to it. This is what I tend to call active learning. Now, let's take a look at one of these courses at hard English level. Learn from Shakespeare. Let's see. There's a video podcast. It actually helps you with both vocabulary and listening. You should check them out. All Ears English podcast. This website also offers interesting topics sorted by what students need. Just head over to the podcasts and pick what you want to work on. Then you'll see a filter drop-down with 3 sections, English fluency, IELTS, and business English. You can also filter by topic and skills. What's different here is that there aren't any activities right on the page, but they do have roleplay activities built in that help you review the vocabulary taught in each episode. Definitely check them out. Passive versus active listening. Listening, as you know, is a skill that needs attention and intentional concentration to improve. I strongly believe that simply listening to a podcast on your commute won't magically make you a better listener. Improving any skill takes effort, repetition, and hard work. So let's learn how to get better at it step by step. How to use podcasts. Regardless of how you get your podcasts on Spotify, Castbox, or Apple Podcasts, you need to know several things before you start. You need to know 1. What you like. What topics you're interested in. Start with them. I love science, philosophy, and entertainment, so I almost always have something to listen to. 2. How long you have. If you work, you might find it too difficult to actively listen and do exercises. But you need to know every little bit helps. So even if you have 10 to 15 minutes, give it a try. 3. How often you can review what you learned. This is one of the most important steps in learning anything, revision or review. You have to be able to review what you learned, so before you start something new, spend 5 minutes to review and repeat some of the things you've learned. Now comes the most important part. Why? It is important to be clear why you're listening to a podcast or any audio file. I think you can narrow it down to 5 reasons: vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, overall understanding, entertainment. Reason 1, vocabulary. Learning vocabulary is the most common reason why most students listen to podcasts. And here is how you can do it. Step 1. If you're old-fashioned like me, have a pen and paper ready for this part. Otherwise, feel free to make notes in any way you like. When you listen to a podcast, the hosts, including me, generally introduce new words, their meaning, and the context which they use them in. So make sure you write these new words down. Then, if you're unsure about your spelling, go and check the script. You can find these on BBC Learning English in the vocabulary reference section or below the audio. Step 2. So try writing down what the words mean while you're listening. That way you're getting some dictation practice, and that'll help with taking notes and understanding things better in the long run. And remember to jot down the context and topics too, not just the definition. That'll show you how and when to use them. Step 3. After that, use Anki or another flashcard app or website to make flashcards. You can make it on paper too. Remember to review them often. It is helpful to include example sentences with the word. To check if your sentences are correct, use an AI chatbot. I'll be making a video soon about using AI to improve your English, so stay tuned. So to recap, write down the word, write the definition as you listen, pause and repeat the audio if necessary, and make flashcards and review. Reason 2, grammar. It is one of the tricky but essential parts because without it, you might misunderstand or completely miss the point. Of course, some podcasts directly teach you grammar, but step 1. This time, as you listen, pay attention to the tenses in each sentence. Pause after each one. Listen again. Was it present perfect or past perfect? Did they say you'd known or you've known? Ask yourself why. This way, you'll not only identify the tense, but also understand why and how it is used. Step 2. Try listening to the same sentence one more time, but now pay attention to how the words are arranged. What is this structure? Is it a question? Is it a statement? Can you spot adverbs, adjectives? What about nouns? Step 3. Listen carefully to their prepositions and phrasal verbs. Did they say looking forward to talk to you or looking forward to talking to you? Was it he carried on to talk or he carried on talking, and so on and so forth? Reason 3. Pronunciation. Students tend to ignore this one the most. I think that's because they don't see it as important or they find it too difficult. Step 1. This is similar to shadowing, a technique that can really help your fluency. Just listen to the first sentence and try to repeat it as many times as you can, trying to sound like the speaker. If the sentence feels easy, find one with a trickier word or a longer structure. Step 2. As you repeat the sentence, record yourself. Of course, you need a headphone or an earbud for this one. Then compare your recording to the podcast and see if you notice any differences. Step 3. Now open the script and try again. You might be wondering why we didn't start with the script. Well, it's because we're trying to improve your listening skills. So first, we need to warm up your brain, and second, help you notice any pronunciation mistakes or variations. Without those first steps, you won't really know if you're saying something incorrectly, and therefore, you won't feel the need to correct yourself. Step 4. Keep doing this as many times as you need to get the words right. I know this can be the trickiest part, but trust me, it's worth it. Give it a shot. Reason 4. Overall understanding. This one, also called listening fluency, is something most of you are familiar with and have probably done many times. But let's see how I'll approach it. First step. Pick a short podcast to start. This really needs your focus and you want to take notes. So listen to it and jot down keywords. Pay attention to the tenses, new words, and grammar. Step 2. Go through your notes to make sure everything is clear and easy to read. Don't write full sentences. Step 3. Now, this is the one most of you probably don't love doing. Record yourselves talking about what you just listened to. I know it's not the easy thing, but this makes sure you're practicing all the last 3 things we talked about. You practice new vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. That's why you spend all this time to get to this point, to retell what you learned in a podcast. And yes, I know I'm repeating myself, but trust me, spending just 15 minutes a day on one of these 4 will improve your listening. Reason 5. Entertainment. For entertainment, there is not a whole lot to say. It's really just a passive listening experience. The upside is you get some language exposure and you might review some vocabulary and grammar, but it's only if you are focused. If not, just have fun. Now, a quick summary. Here's the short version of what we just talked about. You gotta be intentional and know your purpose when you listen. That's key for learning. If you practice even 15 minutes daily, you'll see progress. And don't forget to review. Just having something on in the background won't automatically make you a better listener unless you are actively engaged. Thank you for watching. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this was useful, feel free to share it. Catch you in the next video.